Good morning. It is, what is it? July the something? My gimbal's having a fit because I taped down that switch that I've been holding down, and now it's twitching like crazy, so I don't know what to do about this thing. Maybe I should go back to my old gimbal. It was simpler. It wouldn't seem to be as nice, but it didn't have the same current problem. So it's a Monday, and I have traditionally walked along always walk along the streets, traditionally walked along the creek on Monday. It really doesn't like that piece of tape I put there. Maybe I have to move it. Let's take it off, see what happens. Audio? I wonder if my battery's dying. I did a long walk yesterday. I hate that because everything I said up to now was wasted. I'm going to keep it in my hand and keep an eye on the little green light. So, what did I say? I said that I'm working on publishing stuff. That's hardly news. Getting ready for the winter 2025 release. Sorry for the flip. Hello. Ambient audio only the rest of the way, which is better than apparently the no audio that we had at least part of that walk. I don't know when it failed. If it was right from the beginning or not. I'm just getting the balance readjusted here. It looks pretty good. Yeah, okay. Well, I don't know exactly when that failed. I should have thought of that because I did a really long walk yesterday, and I should charge the microphone every time I come in. And I forgot. I thought it would last for another walk, but apparently not. So the battery died on it. So I don't know what I said that was heard and what I said that was just me mumbling to myself, but to recap. Let's see, publishing, I'm getting ready for my winter 2025 releases, so that's what I'm doing today. I have 3 books that have to go to the printer because my printer's taking a break at the end of the month. So I have to get those to them, which means finishing up the interiors are basically done, but I have to finish up the exteriors. What else? Oh, and wanted to remind anyone who's interested that on my YouTube channel, you can watch the recital I did on Saturday night at the Artesian to celebrate, well, our mutual birthdays, really, my wife and I. Hers was a little while ago, mine's coming up. It's my 65th, so I did a senior moment with Edward Willett. Ed sings as many of his favorite songs as he can still remember the words to. And you can find that on the YouTube channel. You get more ambient sound when I don't have the microphone, but wind noise and sound going in and out is more of a problem. Now they're working on the bridge here, so I'm planning to cross on this side. We'll see. I guess so. I can just walk down this spot if the sidewalk's open. Is the sidewalk open? See, like there's stuff on the sidewalk. So either I go to the left and across, or I go down here and pick up the cross street. I think I'll do that. All right, we'll go down here. Maybe the sidewalk is open, but maybe this is more interesting anyway. I think that's everything that I really said of any note during the time that I may or may not have been audible, so. I never know because there's a little green light, but I can't see it. And so when it fails and goes off, I can't see it. So I rely on someone to tell me, so thank you. The NYC bubbles, is that what that says? And of course, I can't really read because I don't have my reading glasses. And because it's so bright. Although at the moment, a bit of cloud cover. I'm glad I was able to make out what you'd said, or I wouldn't have known that I had gone silent. Suppose I could cut the audio off and just put music on it. Can do anything. Unnecessary labor, though. Well, at least you get to see backyards here. that's very exciting. Today is, these green ones are yard waste and kitchen food waste. The blue ones are recycling, the big brown ones are regular garbage. Okay, this is college. Makes it easy to cross the street here since the bridge is blocked off, since you don't have to worry about traffic coming. Now I can read it. It is NYC Bubbles. I was right. Who let me know that my sound was off. I'm forever blowing bubbles. Tiny bubbles in the air, I guess. Yes, I made the right choice not to try to come to the sidewalk. Very, very blocked. Yes, road closed. Be very difficult to drive across the bridge at the moment. Again, I don't really know what they're doing. So we'll go this way. This is a little seniors activity center here. And then up ahead is the Neil Bockwell Civic Arts Center, which includes an art gallery. Art Gallery of Regina. Here comes our fourth, is that our fourth dog, I think? Mostly being walked by women or girls. First one I ran into was a girl, young. Park, the creek is over there. We'll get over there. I know I said this is along the creek and I've hardly been along it. But... Morning. So they do art classes in here, and they have, as I said, the little art gallery of Regina is in there. More dogs up ahead. There's a giant beaver over here, which was a centennial project back in 1967, the year we moved to Canada from Texas. Oh, those weren't dogs. That was a stroller and a small child. Sorry. There's the giant beaver. He's looking a little the worse for wear. He needs some tender loving care like the frog over at College Avenue campus has recently gotten. Playground. Soccer field coming up. Nice playground. As I often say, playgrounds meant more to me back when Alice was small. Now that she's 23, we don't focus on playgrounds nearly as much as we used to. Funny that. So go up to 15th, walk down to Pasco, and just kind of reverse my usual path here, I think is what we're doing. I think that's what I'm doing. Do I really know what I'm doing? Not really. I make it up as I go. Even the recital on Saturday, somebody said, you know, all that work you did to write the narration. Well, I didn't. I just thought about it in my head and extemporized on stage. Worked. Wouldn't have mattered if I'd written it. I wasn't reading it, and I wasn't going to memorize anything, so it would have ended up being the same, no matter how much I wrote down to begin with. I thought about it a lot. And as I said, you can watch it here on my YouTube channel, A Senior Moment with Edward Willett. Change of pace from walking. There was also a new podcast yesterday featuring Tobias S. Bakel and Dave Kletcha. Tobias is the New York Times best-selling author, and he and Dave is an ex-Marine reservist. Have written I call it a military fantasy novel called Runes of Engagement. It's basically modern military meets a D&D world. but it's not what they expect. And they expect something because, unlike many fantasy worlds, the people in this world actually have played D&D and all that stuff and read Lord of the Rings and everything, so they have expectations of fantasy worlds that then aren't met when they actually enter a fantasy world. I think what we'll do is go across Pasqua, go down on this side of the Pasqua Street Bridge, and then head back along the footpath by the creek way over there. I think that's the plan. I just made it up, as I said, but it seems like a good plan. Nice flowers over there in somebody's yard. Dandelions popping up, of course, as they always do. I'm surprised how many people I run into when I'm walking in the middle of the day on a work day. I know why I don't have a job to go to, but I don't understand why so many other people don't seem to. The neighborhood that a lot of his paintings are, although without the green bins and the blue bins, old ash cans, trash cans. Comes a jogger. He was walking briskly, so I'm pretty sure he was out for exercise. Here comes a jogger who's definitely out for exercise. Again, if I only did a bingo card with the things that you see on these walks. I have jogged along here, but not for about 3 years now. I was jogging, my knees wouldn't take it. So I would jog for a day or two, and then my knees were so stiff I couldn't do it for a few days. And well, that's counterproductive. And that's when I started walking, and well, when I returned to walking, because normally walking has been my main exercise. And then saw a guy in New York called, well, his name is Gabe, but it's called Walking Commuter. Started watching his stuff. Haven't watched it recently, but occasionally we still check it out. And I thought, hey, I can do that. Of course, I was partly inspired by the fact he keeps getting people giving him money, but that's only happened to me a couple of times. You can, somehow, I don't know how, but somehow you can give me money. And this channel is monetized. I'm making, almost $1 a day. Almost. But you know, it doesn't sound like a lot, but it's probably at least $300 a year, I would think, which I didn't have before, so I'll take it. I'm not going to be quitting my job and becoming a full-time YouTuber, though. That seems clear. Quitting my job. As I just established, I don't actually have a job. So I'm a freelancer, or else I have one that's 24/7. That's really what it is. Go on vacation, that's fine, but I have my computer and I can still work, and I do. Very rare that I stop doing anything writing or publishing related for an extended period of time, like never. In England this fall, and I don't suspect anything will change, even though we're there sightseeing, but I'll be finding opportunities to do some stuff, keep up on things. Another dog, another woman, or girl, can't tell from here. It's easier to cross here because this is a temporary four-way stop because of all the additional traffic coming up Pasqua Street here because of the Elphinstone Bridge being closed due to that construction work they're doing. Express. It's an old school. When I first moved up here, it had just been closed down, and we actually rehearsed the Fantastics in it for Thai production. I played El Gallo, major role, which I've done again since then. One of my favorite roles too, so when I did my recital, after the opening number, which is sung with my accompanist, Rob Urson, the first song I do is Try to Remember, which is El Gallo's famous song from Fantastics. Try to remember the kind of September, that one. We rehearsed in here. The Sask Express has been there a long time now. The old gym has turned into a bit of a theater. Lyric did 25th annual Putnam County Spelling Bee there. I wasn't in it. I saw it there. I wish I'd been in it. I didn't audition for some reason. It's a great show. And adults play kids, so age doesn't matter, which is kind of nice. Baseball diamond over there. We'll go here and then down by the creek, walk under the bridge as we turn around and start the homeward leg of this adventure. Then it'll be lunchtime, almost. I may shorten the homeward stretch by sticking down in the path right by the creek instead of taking the more winding scenic path. I have to be sure I'm back before our cleaning lady wraps up. So here's the Devonian pathway, multi-use pathway, bicycle and pedestrian, basically, that means. Scooters these days, with all those pesky electric scooters plaguing the streets. Cyclists dismount, they mostly don't. As Calvin, is it hot outside? It's 21 or 2 at the moment. Feels humid. It is going to be a hot week. We're supposed to go up to 30s as the week goes along. Don't know if we're headed there today or not. Here we are under the Pasqua Street Bridge. Now we'll be by the creek again as we continue on. See, I'll bet you she doesn't dismount even though it says to, because who would? It's such a pain. You just take it slow. Certainly when I used to ride on the bike path, I never dismounted, so I can't blame anybody. I haven't been on a bicycle in years though. My most recent bicycle was stolen, as were 2 before that, out of my garages here in Regina. I've had 3 bicycles stolen out of my garages over the 30 years I've been here, and I just haven't replaced the last one. Haven't had it for 10 years. The worst thing about that wasn't even the loss of the bicycle, it was the loss of the bicycle helmet, because my head is big, and it's very hard to find a helmet that will fit me. So I have to buy a new helmet too if I decided to get a bicycle. Anyway, walking seems to be my thing now. Not riding a bike. Oops. I let go of that switch and it popped up and locked again. Just insists on that. I wonder if there's a setting Everything else seems to be the same as always, but I'm going to walk, it doesn't look too wet, I'm going to walk right down by the creek instead of going up through the curving part of the path up there. Ooh, feeling warm now in the sun. Oh, no, I'm not walking on that path. Definitely staying on the pavement. It's flooded. Okay, guess I'm doing it this way then. However, I'm not going back across. If I'm coming this way, I'm going to go up to 15th and over, I think. A little more direct. Bit of a shortcut. It'll take me back up to where I was, but not quite where I was, so it won't be too much of a overlap. Starting to drip now, so here's a sign that it is warm. Also just a sign that cooling myself with perspiration has never been a problem for me. That's the politest way to put that. I perspire freely in warm weather. But you know, as I said, it should be good for... Now, what have they done here? They are no longer mowing here. They're going to let it go back to nature. Is that what this is? Or they're doing something on the sprinklers, maybe. Maybe that's what it is. So they're not mowing while that's happening? I don't know. Certainly it hasn't been touched this spring, summer, I would say. It has flags marking gas lines and stuff. So I don't know what they're planning for that. I guess we'll find out as time goes by. You must remember this. Now, what I can do is shorten this even more by cutting through the grass. Maybe that's what I'll do. I'll head straight to the intersection up there that I'm headed for anyway. Hopefully they haven't been watering here and I don't get too wet feet. Yeah, that's where we're headed. 30 and above this week. It's a bit wet in here, but oh well. I have committed now to walking across the grass. Yeah, my feet are getting a little wet. You can hear maybe you can hear my shoes squeaking. Well, such is life. That's life. That's why people say you're flying high in April, shot down in May. But I know I'm gonna change that tune when I'm back on top in June. That's life, funny as it seems. Some people get their kicks stepping on dreams. A little Frank Sinatra the piece there. I've known it for years, for some reason. I've been a puppet, a pauper, a poet, a pirate, a pawn, and a king. I remember that part too. See, I do remember words, which is why I was able to do my show, although there were two at the very end, as I got tired, that I lost focus, and one that I just didn't properly prepare. One, I kind of lost focus and had to restart, and one that I didn't properly prepare. So it was entirely my fault. Could have been fine, but I just didn't look at it and realized backstage halfway through the show that I hadn't checked those lyrics and I did not know them solidly, and sure enough, I did not. Anywho, it was fine because it was called a senior moment, so forgetting words was actually fit right in with the theme of the show. And yes, even my screw-ups are still in the YouTube version, so if you want to see, you can. was not a stop by any stretch of the imagination, that first car. This guy didn't really stop either. It's right there on camera if anybody wants to call the police. Rolling stops are actually illegal, but they're very common, and I've probably done my share of them, especially in the winter when stopping and starting on ice is hard. It's much better sometimes to slow to a dead crawl, but keep going. Argyle Street. That used to be a taller tree, clearly. Wonder when its top came off. We have one like that in our yard. Well, taller than that. But the top came off while we were away. It fell in our neighbor's yard in a windstorm. Probably 12 feet of tree. Fortunately, just hit the ground, nothing else. These spruce are probably pushing 100 years old, some of them, so. Or maybe already over it. Most of the trees down here are probably pushing that in this neighborhood. Since the oldest houses date back that far, ours will be 100 in 2 years, and it's not the oldest by any means. The oldest date back to like 1914 time frame in some of this neighborhood. In this direction, but I'm not 100% sure. Okay, well, we missed the light, so I'm going to walk back down to College Avenue again. When I did jog, it was always nice to get to this point on the other side of the street, because it's downhill towards the creek, and you really noticed it when you're jogging, and somewhat walking. Well, I can cross over now. You got Belfenstone there. Yes, I know. I was just talking about people breaking the law by rolling through stop signs and then I jaywalked, but it's different when other people do it. I just like this bit of sidewalk with the big trees, and it's downhill toward the creek. Older neighborhood, still plenty of the older houses here, a few newer ones. Same over here. Yeah, these would be quite a bit younger than our house, so most of these would certainly probably be 20s, maybe. Might be the teens, I suppose. I don't know for sure. But I like this one with the fir trees in their shutters. In any event, call it around 100 years old, all these houses, and the trees likewise. We are back at the closed bridge. Rough walking here. Another look at the bridge being worked on. It's about 4 blocks this way, and then we'll reach our crescent and home from there. See, some are clearly newer than others, even if they're fairly old. They're not the oldest. It's an old neighborhood anyway, because we're very close to downtown, so the original neighborhoods, of course, were close to downtown. pink houses for you and me. They always have nice flowers here on the corner too. Also pink. Actually, some of these look like they're definitely older than ours, so this neighborhood probably is well over 100 years old. The oldest houses in it. At one point, as I understand it, there was a rail line along that side of College. There's one reason there's more of an embankment on that side than there is on this side. And if you went straight on down to the corner of College and Albert, there was supposed to be a big railway hotel. They started building it, but never got much further than some of the structural steel. And then the economy fell apart. It wasn't the Depression, it was a previous economic downturn. And they tore it down, and there's a house right down by the creek that was built with some of the materials that were originally intended for that hotel. That's a well-kept house. And blue, very blue. Ours has always been white, but we would like to repaint it sometime soon. We're gonna have to get stucco repair, then do a paint job, retrim the windows. We need new front windows. There's always something you can do on an old house. Currently our focus is this little addition. This is actually a new house, but they did a really nice job of making it fit in with the older houses. I really like this one and how they put it together. At first glance, you can't tell that wasn't built 100 years ago. At second glance, you'll notice it's in better shape than most of the 100-year-old houses. It looks newer, but it's not immediately apparent. There's the kitchen waste and lawn waste pickup truck. Making its rounds. Flores Organic. Contracted by the city. Another nice, well-kept up house. I've been in that one, and maybe the one back there too. Again, on those home tours. Now this one is an older house, but recently painted, so probably had their stucco fixed up too. Ours is not horrible, but it certainly has some areas that need some work. And I'd love to put the flower box back on the front of our house, like they all used to have. You can see where the support beams for it were in the wall, but it hasn't been there for years. The house was built in 26 and bought in 1939 by my wife's grandparents for $5,000. Don't know what it's worth on the open market right now, but something like $350,000 probably here. It'd be worth millions in some places, but not in Regina. There's a house for sale over there. Fairly ordinary looking one. But again, location, location, location. This is a great location. 20-minute walk downtown from here. 15 minutes to the lake. 15 minutes to the airport. Okay, Angus Crescent. We're almost home. Or I am anyway. Maybe not you. I have no idea what the sound was like. Again, if you're joining, my microphone died early on. Battery ran out. Fortunately, somebody told me, and I unplugged it and switched to just the microphone on the iPhone, which isn't ideal from a wind noise, although it does pick up ambient noise, perhaps in a more interesting fashion sometimes. Lots of nice houses along our crescent. Again, about 100 years old, most of them. Less. There was a magazine in the States, like I don't know if it was Home and Garden, but a major magazine in the States. One year named this neighborhood one of North America's, I think it was the top 100 old house neighborhoods. You can see why. Especially on the crescents, there are a few newer infill houses, but a lot of these are still the original ones. My wife says that's a very nice one. She was in it on a home tour, but I wasn't. I'm not a huge fan of the brick and then the shingle above on this one. It's just a box, but still. These cube houses, and there's a lot of them, do make efficient use of the space. And you get people that went for the high peaked kind of Swiss look. Lots and lots of this, very common at that era. That one's similar to ours, but not identical by any means. Ours has some unusual features that I'd like to have a word with the architect about, because I'm not a big fan of some of them. Over there is Tommy Douglas's old house, former Premier of Saskatchewan, father of Medicare. Had an indoor swimming pool. I don't know what that meant for mold and humidity in the rest of the house. But it's still there. We've been in that house. Now that's probably a really old one there from that look. I'll bet you that one's over 100 years old for sure. Pretty, blue and white. I think I've been in that one on the home tour too. This next one here though is really interesting because it is a new one. It doesn't look that big from the front, but it's actually huge because it has a lower level and then it's open inside, so the bedrooms and stuff have basically a balcony overlooking the big living room area, built by an architect for his own use. My wife really wanted to buy it when we toured it on, because it was for sale when we toured it, but it wasn't really a practical thought. Worried about the cat too. What if he jumped up and fell over the balcony bench? Probably wouldn't have, but this one's for sale. You're looking to be my neighbor. And my house is on the other side, so we'll go over by this one, which is a very nice house on the corner. Well kept up in a historic property. Huge yard with a gazebo in it, and they keep it up very, very nicely. They can have a moat around to walk over to get into the gazebo. The T.E. Parrott residence, does it say when it was built? 1909, 1910, so it's one of the very first ones in the neighborhood here, this one. So our house was still 15 years away, 16 years away when they built that. Okay, that one's been for sale, but I think it's sold over there too. Thanks for walking with me. Sorry about the sound. I'll plug in my mic when I get in. Bye for now.